After installing the groundwater monitoring system, we installed the methane collection system. What is the methane collection system? Municipal solid waste landfills are the third largest source of human-related methane emissions in the U.S., accounting for approximately 15.4% of these emissions in 2015. At the same time, methane emissions from landfills represent a lost opportunity to capture and use a significant energy resource. When trash is first deposited in a landfill, it undergoes an aerobic decomposition stage with little methane is generated with oxygen. Then typically within less than a year, anaerobic conditions are established and methane-producing bacteria begin to decompose and waste and generate methane. So instead of escaping into the air, this can be collected, captured, and converted and used as an energy source. Using the methane collection system helps reduce odors and helps prevent methane from migrating into the atmosphere and contributing to the local smog or harming any groundwater systems below. This is the methane collection system. First of all is the extraction of the methane. We use gas wells to keep the extracted methane, and then we use extracting machines. There may be methane leaks during the extraction, but other than that, there's no important emissions. So once the methane is extracted, it undergoes conditioning, wherein the methane is treated so it can be converted into energy sources. CO2 or carbon dioxide is used to treat methane. We use compression units and carbon dioxide to condition the methane. Treated methane then goes for usage, wherein generators convert the methane into electricity. It uses diesel fuel and electricity for its conversion. Now, the electricity formed from methane goes to net entry, wherein it is now being prepared by generators and distributed throughout homes by the said companies. So in net entry, we use substations,
and I will be talking about the leachate collection system. So first off, we would like to know whether the leachate is highly toxic by collecting it and analyzing it using by the pumping machines and some sensors. After the analysis and collecting process, we will be having the filter process, in which in this case there are three filtering stages: the cartridge stages, sand filter, and the reverse osmosis or nanofiltration. So in cartridge filter, there is a cartridge filter where the leachate undergoes a process of permeate membrane, wherein in the cartridge filter it produces permeate solids which cleans or neutralizes the leachate by 20%. So next is the sand filter. It uses sand filter machine, water, and some sulfuric acid, fluctant, and others. This helps the leachate undergo a 50% concentration. This also reduces the microorganisms within that leachate. Next is the reverse osmosis. This is the last step wherein it uses some wires and uses some chemicals that make up the concentration for the leachate to be treated leachate. After that, there will be the treated leachate and disposing it.
Good evening, guys. I am here to discuss the process, hazards, classifications, rules and regulations, mitigations of our case study about landfill. The first process is excavation. As we can see, the hazards are improper machine handling, dust, and no PPE. This violates the rules and regulations, also known as OSHS rules, at the Rule 1080, which stands for Personal Protective Equipment and Devices. This can be properly solved by proper handling of machines and wearing PPE, and also machine guarding. The second process is layering. The hazards are improper machine handling, air emissions, hazardous water materials, no PPE, and microorganisms. The rules in the OSH are 1090, which stands for hazardous material, 1080, personal protective equipment and devices, Rule 1120, hazardous work processes, and 1013, hazardous workplaces. The mitigation for this are proper handling, wearing PPE such as gas masks and gloves, etc., machine guarding. The third process is installing leachate collection system. This involves hazardous waste materials, dust, and the usual no PPE. The rules and regulations for this are 1090, 1080, and Rule 1120. And this can be properly solved by machine guarding, proper handling, wearing PPE. And for the next process is installing methane collection system. The hazards for this are hazardous waste material, dust, methane neutralizer chemicals, and no PPE. The rules are 1090, 1080, and Rule 1120, hazardous work processes. And for the mitigation are machine guarding, proper handling, and wearing PPE. And for the process installing groundwater monitoring, the hazards that can be dangerous for us are the causes of improper machine handling and no PPE. And this is a safety hazard and a physical hazard. The OSH rules under this are only 1080, which is personal protective equipment and devices. And the mitigation for this are machine guarding, proper handling, and wearing PPE. And for the final covering, the hazards for this are improper machine handling, no PPE, air emission from garbage produced, dust, NO, CO. And for the OSH rules under this are the 1090, which is hazardous materials, 1080, personal protective equipment and devices, Rule 1120, hazardous work processes. And its mitigation are machine guarding, proper handling, and wearing PPE. Examples of this are gas masks, gloves, and etc. And now, all of this are the same for process 2 methane collection system. The hazards and rules of OSHS are the same. For the next process, the extraction of methane. The hazards are improper machine handling, possible leak of methane in pipes, and explosion. This one's a physical hazard and a chemical one. And they are under the 1090, 1080, Rule 1120, and 1073, which is the threshold limit values for airborne contaminants. Its mitigation are proper wearing of PPE, machine guarding, proper handling of machine, proper ventilation, emergency exit and tools, airborne contaminants. And this can be properly solved by machine guarding, proper handling of and wearing PPE like gas masks, gloves, etc., proper ventilation, and emergency exit and tools. And for the next process, which is the usage and net entry, all the hazards and OSHS rules and mitigations are the same. Also for the process 3 leachate collecting system, they have the same rules and hazards and mitigation. Also for the kind of hazard. And now, for the extraction of leachate and analysis, the hazards are improper machine handling, possible leak of leachate pipes, exposed to leachate and microorganisms, and health conditions affected. These hazards are safety, chemical, and biological hazards. And they are under the OSHS rules 1090, which the hazardous materials, 1080, personal protective equipment and devices, Rule 1120, hazardous work processes, 1013, hazardous workplaces. And its mitigation are machine guarding, proper handling and wearing PPE, gas masks, and gloves, etc. And proper ventilation and emergency exit and tools. Hazards, which are under 1090, 1080, Rule 1120, and 1013. And to address this are machine guarding, proper handling and wearing PPE, gas masks, gloves, etc. For the next process, it's reverse osmosis or runoff filtration. The hazards are improper machine handling, exposed to microorganisms as the waste of the machine, leachate, neutralizer chemicals, health conditions affected. These are all safety hazards, chemical hazards, and biological hazards. Under the 1090, 1080, Rule 120, 1013, and 1073, which is, I repeat, threshold limit values for airborne contaminants. And its mitigations are machine guarding, proper handling, and wearing PPE, gas masks, gloves, etc. And for the next process, delivery of treated leachate pipes to storage cell. The only hazard for this are improper machine handling, and it's a safety hazard. Under the Rule 1090, hazardous materials, 1080, personal protective equipment and devices. And to address this is machine guarding. And for process 4 groundwater monitoring, the hazards are improper machine handling, which is a safety hazard. The only OSHS rules under it are 1080, personal protective equipment and devices. And to address this are machine guarding, no PPE. And for the final process, the final covering or cap. This involves improper machine handling, no PPE, air emissions from garbage, produce, dust, NO, CO, SOK, and microorganisms. These are safety hazards, chemical hazards, and biological hazards. And are under the OSH rules 1090 hazardous materials, 1080 personal protective equipment and devices, Rule 1120 hazardous work processes, and 1013 hazardous workplaces. And its mitigations are machine guarding, proper handling and wearing PPE, gas mask, gloves, etc., and proper training about disposal of garbage. And that's all for the table of processes, hazards, and its rules and mitigations. Thank you.